I was built for this, Viva. I love that I've been doing this for years, and now that I'm getting some attention, what is it takes your whole life to become an overnight success.
That expression is beautiful. It's like also people say it grows like bamboo. It grows 18 feet in a week, but it took 6 years for that seed to lay the roots to grow that fast. Are you in fact only 33 years old?
I'm 34. I don't know why I said I'm 30. I mean, 35. Why did I say 34? I'm 35. And listen, I'm 35. I'm older than I look. I look like a baby. And the reason why I'm able to fund this is I signed a deal with Blaze as a contributor, so they pay me. And then my YouTube channel, is doing well. I do pretty decent from that. And then I got a show coming out in September on the Blaze where I'm making substantially more money. So now now that I'm getting funded by a real corporation, crap's only going to get crazier from now on.
Okay, hold on. So I only put the math together because it said you were 27 in that article. Mm-hmm. So the article was a troll. You didn't lose that much money playing fantasy football. You've been doing this type of stuff for a while. When you said that Tucker Carlson actually adopted you, that's a joke. That's not true, correct?
That's a joke, but Kathy Griffin thinks it's true because I'm the conspiracy. I'm like if Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones had a baby. That's who I am. So yes, that's why I make that joke, and I kind of look like him a little bit. Well,
I love the idea of culture jamming. So explain what culture jamming is.
Well, I mean, there's different definitions of it, but I think it's just as simply put as the mainstream media has gone so insane now where there's 72 genders. And I think a good example was Leah Thomas, who was on the men's team for 3 years, was ranked 457th, and then got to take gender hormone therapy and compete against the women and become a number one champion in multiple divisions. Like I think she won multiple events for the NCAA championships. And she gets applauded. She even got nominated for Woman of the Year. So what I did is I put on a women's bathing suit and I went to city council and I said, they won't let me swim against the women. They won't let me change in the women's locker room. Why are you doing it? This is bigotry. This is racism. And of course they look at me like I'm an insane person, which I am, but that shows them the hypocrisy that all these people have. They're all hypocrites. And when you jam the most absurd parts of our culture in their face, it wakes people up because, dude, listen to this. Viva, I'm not a leader. People are like, oh, Alex is some conservative. I'm not even conservative. I'm a populist. I'm somewhere in the middle, and I don't want to be a leader. If I am a leader, I want to lead you to go the opposite direction of me. I try to mix absurdity with reality so people can't tell what is real or fake because I like the Andy Kaufman method. I think that's how we actually make people question the reality in which they live in because everybody just looks at sudden adult death syndrome, like you said earlier, oh, that's because of climate change. That's because the weather's getting hotter. It's like, no, dummy, look into it. So I don't want to tell them the information. I don't even want them to agree with me. I just want them to question the reality in which we live in because basically everything is fake or a lie, in my opinion.
Well, it is. You say it out loud. I've seen it. You get called transphobe and you get called everything. Mm-hmm. The idea that you get up in a bathing suit as an adult male who's been biologically male your whole life, and then you get called names for doing effectively. True, Leah Thomas might have been taking, I don't know, some sort of maybe hormone suppressors, or I don't know how it works, but it's only off by a degree or two, and yet you get lambasted and someone else gets put up on a pedestal, literally. I mean, I guess the question is this: how do you get your content, but the world seems to be dishing it out for you in real time?
Yeah, dude, it's easy. You just put a mirror up to it. But see, that's the other thing. It's like, I'm not even homophobic. I'm not even really anti-trans. If you're an adult and you want to cross-dress, go ahead. My problem is with these kids. Like, I went to an event called Drag Your Kids to Pride event, where this was at a drag show where kids were actually tipping drag queens as if they were like at a strip club. There was parents in there where the kids are playing their video games. The parents are like, put your video game down, watch the transgenders. And this is the problem, is the sexualization of kids. Like, we are literally attacking them with sex. And I don't think that's okay. I think we live in a world now where, forget of like libertarian values, which I agree with, but the idea where teachers are basically assigning kids genders and doing it behind their parents' back, we've gone too far. We've lost the plot. So for me, me exposing that or talking about that, I'm homophobic, I'm transphobic, I'm all these terrible things. And when in reality, I don't even care. As a matter of fact, this is not that popular of a statement. I actually respect drag queens more because at least they just LARP as a woman and it's just temporary than the parents that give their kids gender reassignment surgery because they're in some tomboy phase. So I actually think that what's going on now is even way more intense than any sort of drag event or drag brunch. It's a sexualization of children all for clout and likes on TikTok and Instagram. It's really sick as far as society has devolved.
I think people have coined the term, I think, like gender dysphoria or gender dysmorphia by proxy, where parents are, they might have their own preferences, but imputing it or imparting it onto their children. And I think you make it clear nobody understands it. And I'll put words in your mouth. You would probably be just as shocked and egreged if parents were taking their kids to strip clubs, heterosexual strip clubs.
Of course.
So I guess the one question is, you have to have thick skin, but do you just shut off the emotional side of your being because of the hate you're going to get? Or the cliche is the positive feedback, the sense that you're actually maybe righting the ship, does that get you through the day?
Well, I don't make the positive comments make me too high or the negative comments make me too low. And I feel like Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock as the wrestling heel. I'm the bad guy. I don't mind being the bad guy. I've always been okay with being the villain. And I do that on purpose. So the fact that I'm actually evoking an emotional response from people, it tells me that I'm winning. It tells me that I'm doing my job. And and I have toxoplasmosis. This is Angus. This is my youngest cat. He's a freak. I'm worried he might get monkeypox. He runs to my neighbor's house sometimes. I want to keep him protected so much so, Angus. I care about you so much. But my point being is like, in this day and age of content, we're losing all the good content because of political correctness. So really, I'm just hitting a void of content because I'm being politically incorrect. And this, you were similar ages. Like, it wasn't that long ago where people could be politically incorrect. In the 90s, some of the best culture ever, movies that have lasted the test of time. Now the movies and art we get is total crap. And it's all because it's all woke, political correctness. It has to have a, Latino transgender lead character instead of just being about the story or just being funny. And that's why I think the reason why I'm being successful is I'm filling a huge void where other people should be doing the same thing as me. And that's what makes you feel the best. People are like, oh, you like the cloud, you like having subscribers, you like, having a YouTube channel, this and that. My favorite thing, and I'm not saying this to virtue signal, I love when people send me a message or come up to me and say, you know what, I went and I spoke at my city council because of you. I went and I spoke at my school board because of you. Because I realized then I'm actually making a change, because public speaking is people's biggest fear. It's up there with like arachnophobia, flying. I believe it's higher than those two things. So if I can convince a person to go speak out for what they believe in, then I love it, because if nobody speaks up for yourself, nobody's going to do it for you unless you speak for yourself. So that's the problem in society. We all are just laying down and letting the government say sudden adult death syndrome is the reason why people are dying because of climate change. It's insane.